A staggering 2/3 of Brits are calling for Harry and Meghan to be stripped of their HRH titles.
There are growing calls to strip Harry and Meghan of their royal titles. The New York Post is reporting that locals in the UK say enough is enough, especially after Prince Harry's disastrous BBC interview, which aired hours after he lost his appeal for taxpayer-funded UK. William is reportedly formulating a plan to finally strip Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their HRH titles.
The second talk started coming out of Westminster again. I already knew this situation with Prince Harry was far from over. At first, it sounded like the same old royal drama people have been hearing since the whole Megxit fallout years ago. Another debate, another headline, another round of tension between Harry and the royal family. But then things suddenly started getting way more serious. Reports about discussions tied to his royal status started spreading again, and people online instantly went wild over it.
It's not a financial thing. Working royals do not profit. They do not use their names to make money. It's an honour to have an HRH.
Absolutely.
So the fact that she's continued to use this HRH when they've been instructed not to, I think is absolutely infuriating in Buckingham Palace. It was agreed with Queen Elizabeth that they will not use the HRH title. That is a long-standing precedent, and there's good reason for it. Basically, the HRH is only given to working royals and senior members of the royal family.
What really caught attention was the fact that this wasn't just random internet gossip or celebrity drama channels farming clicks. This time, political figures and royal commentators were openly discussing whether Harry should continue holding royal privileges after spending years publicly criticizing the institution.
But of course, the real measure of success of both of them will be the same as it always has been. How much damage can they inflict on our royal family, on our monarchy? I said it before, I'll say it again tonight. King Charles should strip them of all their remaining titles and cast them out from any connection to the royal family. How could any of them trust them, as far as I could throw them? Because without it, they're just whining millennial windbags with a permanent victim complex, knowing that victimhood is what makes them all the money.
And honestly, that conversation alone was enough to spark chaos online. Some people felt the monarchy had every right to distance itself further, while others argued stripping titles would only create an even bigger mess for the royal family's image. The reason this topic keeps exploding is because Harry's title still carries huge weight even after all these years.
She's slaughtered this weekend because there were some business cards in the back of one of her podcasts. She's still using her royal title, HRH, despite our late Queen warning her against.
Whether people like him or not, the Duke of Sussex name still opens doors globally. It keeps him tied to royal history, royal influence, and everything connected to the monarchy's image. Without it, many people believe the public perception around him changes instantly. That's why every new discussion about titles becomes headline news within minutes. And let's be real here, this stopped feeling like a private family disagreement a long time ago. Back in 2020, when Harry and Meghan Markle stepped away from royal duties, a lot of people thought the drama would cool off eventually. Instead, the years that followed only made the divide look deeper. The interviews, documentaries, books, public accusations, all of it kept adding more pressure onto an already damaged relationship with the monarchy.
Progressive new role within the royal family. While the royal family does modernise, I mean, the Queen sends tweets, it is an age-old institution, and I think that idea of tradition and everything we expect of the monarchy doesn't quite sit well with that idea of
what the monarchy means for the monarchy.
Well, people are talking about it being a constitutional crisis, and I'm not sure it is a constitutional crisis. I mean, through circumstance and the Cambridges having 3 children, Harry slipped down from being the spare to the heir to the 6th.
By 2026, the situation feels less like temporary tension and more like 2 completely separate worlds still clashing from a distance. What's making people pay attention now is how public the conversations have become. Royal experts, politicians, commentators, and even former supporters have been openly debating whether Harry should still benefit from royal branding while continuing to criticize the institution connected to it. That's the part causing the biggest arguments online. Some people think removing titles would finally close the chapter once and for all. Others believe it would only turn Harry and Meghan into even bigger global figures outside the monarchy. And Harry's critics haven't exactly stayed quiet either. A lot of commentators have been saying the royal family spent years trying to avoid escalating things publicly, but now there's growing pressure from people who feel the monarchy has stayed too passive for too long. One commentator even compared the entire situation to a slow-moving political showdown instead of normal royal drama.
A new poll by Find Out Now has revealed that most of the public is supporting the king in this family feud, ongoing family feud, after Harry's bombshell BBC interview. It follows the Court of Appeal's decision to not overturn the ruling on his security in the UK.
That's how intense the conversation has become. At the same time, supporters of Harry argue the public keeps unfairly targeting him while ignoring the pressure he faced growing up inside royal life. So depending on who you ask, he's either someone who walked away from tradition for peace, or someone who damaged his own relationship with the monarchy beyond repair. Either way, one thing is obvious in 2026. This story still has people completely divided, and every new development sends the internet into another meltdown. Across different parts of the UK, the frustration around Prince Harry hasn't really faded away, and by 2026 the conversation feels bigger than celebrity gossip. What started years ago as online arguments has slowly turned into political debate, media pressure, and non-stop public discussion about whether Harry should still be connected to royal status after everything that's happened since leaving royal duties. And the wild part is, people still can't agree on where the line should be.
I would love reconciliation with my family. I don't know how much longer my father has. He won't speak to me because of this security stuff. But it would be nice to reconcile. If they don't want that, that's entirely up to them.
Some royal commentators have even brought up the old Titles Deprivation Act of 1917 during these debates, which immediately grabbed attention because of how historic that law is. Back during World War I, it was used in completely different circumstances involving royals connected to enemy nations. Now, people online keep mentioning it while debating modern royal controversies, even though legal experts have pointed out that applying it today would be extremely complicated and politically sensitive. Still, the fact that people are even discussing old royal laws again shows how heated this entire situation has become. A lot of critics argue that Harry created this backlash himself by continuing to publicly speak about royal life years after stepping away from it. To them, the issue isn't just interviews or documentaries anymore. They feel he still benefits from royal branding while openly criticizing the institution tied to it.
Prince William, he's reportedly furious after it emerged that Meghan Markle is still using her HRH title despite agreeing to drop the title when the Sussexes left royal duty.
Meghan Markle has been very brazen recently with the use of the HRH.
That's why conversations around titles keep resurfacing over and over again. Some people see it as accountability, while others think it looks more like punishment for speaking publicly about his experiences. Then there's the political side of things, which added even more controversy over the years. Royal family members traditionally avoid appearing politically involved, especially internationally, because neutrality has always been a huge part of the monarchy's image. But Harry's public appearances, speeches, and comments in the United States sparked criticism from people who felt he crossed into territory royals normally avoid. Supporters argued he was simply expressing personal opinions as a private citizen. Critics saw it very differently. One royal commentator described the whole thing as a branding crisis mixed with constitutional tension. And honestly, that explains why the debates keep growing instead of disappearing. The monarchy survives heavily on image, tradition, and public trust. So anytime someone with royal ties becomes politically controversial, even indirectly, people immediately start arguing over what's appropriate and what isn't. And then came the media projects that pushed everything even further. The Oprah interview back in 2021 created a global storm almost instantly. After that came the Netflix documentary series, followed by Harry's memoir, Spare, which reopened even more public discussion about the royal family.
But she said she was in the trenches. She alludes to being in the trenches when she was in the British royal family. Girl, you lived in a castle. Like, you got a princess title. People were falling at your feet. People would run your bathwater for you. I mean, I could list the perks. I could list them forever. The trenches, she has got to, the Delulu is on another level. Sometimes I envy it.
Some viewers sympathized with Harry's side of the story, especially regarding pressure from royal life and media treatment. Others felt he revealed far too much private family drama publicly. That's where public opinion really started splitting harder than ever. Critics accused Harry of repeatedly reopening old conflicts for media attention, while supporters argued he had every right to tell his version of events after years of scrutiny from tabloids and public pressure. By 2026, both sides still argue nonstop online anytime his name trends. What makes this situation so unusual is that it's no longer just celebrity news or royal gossip. It became a debate about tradition, public image, free speech, and the role of modern royals in a completely different media era. And whether people support Harry or not, one thing is obvious. Every time this story looks like it's slowing down, another round of controversy pulls everyone right back into it again. At this point, a lot of people in the UK feel like the relationship between Prince Harry and the monarchy has gone way past a normal family disagreement. For years, the royal family mostly stayed quiet publicly, while interviews, documentaries, and headlines kept piling up. But now, more commentators and political voices are openly questioning whether that silence helped calm things down or just allowed the tension to keep growing bigger every year.
There is no trust when it comes to Prince Harry, and the picture he tries to paint with Queen Elizabeth, even saying during that BBC interview that the Queen wanted him to have this level of security. We're finding out the truth, and it's that she was bothered by that.
One thing that keeps coming up is the idea that Harry still benefits from royal connections while criticizing the institution tied to them. Critics say you can't fully distance yourself from royal life while still using royal status as part of your public identity. Supporters push back hard against that argument, though, saying Harry was born into that system and shouldn't be expected to erase his entire background just because he stepped away from official duties. That's why the debate keeps getting more heated instead of fading away. And honestly, public opinion in Britain really has shifted over the years. Back in the early days after Harry and Meghan Markle left royal duties, there was still a lot of sympathy from people who believed they deserved privacy and space away from media pressure. But after the Oprah interview, the Netflix series, and the release of Spare, many people started feeling exhausted by the constant public fallout surrounding the royal family. Polls over the past few years have reflected that divide, too. Some surveys showed declining support for Harry in the UK, especially among older royal supporters, while younger audiences and international fans remained more supportive of his decision to speak openly.
Breaking news out of London, Buckingham Palace announcing Harry and Meghan will no longer formally represent the Queen. That means they will no longer receive public funds and they will stop using their royal titles. Those changes will take effect this spring. So, Katie Nicholl is now...
So depending on where you look, Harry is either viewed as someone exposing problems inside royal life or someone who permanently damaged his relationship with the institution for media attention. The country still seems completely split on it. What really stands out now is how personal the reactions have become in Britain. Some people feel disappointed because they once saw Harry as one of the monarchy's most relatable figures. He had strong public support for years because of his military service, charity work, and public image growing up. That's why some royal commentators say the backlash feels stronger now. Not because people forgot who he used to be, but because expectations around him were once so high. Then there's the business side of everything, which critics constantly bring up online. Since stepping away from royal duties, Harry and Meghan signed major media deals involving documentaries, podcasts, books, and public projects. Critics argue the Duke and Duchess titles still play a huge role in global branding and public interest surrounding those deals. Supporters respond by saying public interest would follow them no matter what titles they had because their lives were already globally famous before leaving royal duties. Either way, the commercial aspect of royal life became a huge talking point by 2026. Some commentators believe the monarchy underestimated how complicated modern celebrity culture would become once former working royals started building independent media brands outside palace control. Others argue Harry and Meghan simply adapted to a system where public image and storytelling dominate global attention. And that's really why this story refuses to disappear. It's not just about royal gossip anymore. It became a larger argument about identity, loyalty, media influence, family conflict, and how much control modern monarchies can realistically keep in a world driven by non-stop public exposure.
It's my pleasure. It's a big news story. As you can imagine over here, it really has, the phone hasn't stopped ringing, put it that way.
And in terms of your initial reaction to this latest news, that in fact it feels like it's a full removal in the sense of not just senior royal duties, but
a new poll by Find Out Now has revealed that most of the public is supporting the king in this family feud, ongoing family feud, after Harry's bombshell BBC interview. It follows the Court of Appeal's decision to not overturn the ruling on his security in the UK.
Every new interview, appearance, or political discussion pulls the entire debate right back into headlines again. One criticism that keeps following Prince Harry and Meghan Markle is the argument that they stepped away from royal duties without fully stepping away from royal branding. That debate has been nonstop for years now, especially whenever new projects, interviews, or business deals get announced. Critics online often claim the couple wanted independence from the monarchy while still benefiting from the global attention connected to their royal titles. Supporters, though, argue that public fascination with them would exist no matter what because their lives became international news long before leaving royal roles. Still, by 2026, the royal branding conversation has become one of the biggest talking points surrounding them. Every documentary, public appearance, podcast, or book release immediately sparks another wave of arguments online. Some commentators even use phrases like title marketing to describe how the Sussex name became part of their media image after leaving royal duties. Others think that criticism is unfair because Harry and Meghan never fully abandoned their identities or family history, even after stepping back officially. The debate becomes even more intense whenever discussions about their children's titles come up. Some royal critics say it contradicts the couple's original message about wanting a more private life away from royal pressure. Meanwhile, supporters respond by pointing out that royal titles are based on long-standing rules inside the monarchy, not personal branding strategies.
There has been a crisis in the Windsors, not least how the Sussexes chose to release this news, but also the narrative that we've had in the fallout that the couple were very unhappy, that apparently it was a very toxic environment, particularly for Meghan.
Others surrounding Prince Harry and Prince William, and what this change in senior roles for Harry and Meghan means for that particular relationship.
So once again, the entire argument depends on who you ask. In Britain especially, royal titles still carry deep historical meaning, which is why this topic gets emotional so quickly. To many people, titles are tied to service, tradition, and representing the monarchy publicly. That's why some critics believe using royal identity within entertainment and commercial spaces crosses a line. Others see that view as outdated, arguing modern royals live in a media-driven world where public image and business opportunities naturally overlap now. What's making the situation even more interesting is Buckingham Palace's approach. Over the years, publicly the palace rarely comments directly on the ongoing controversy surrounding Harry and Meghan. Instead, the royal family usually sticks to short official statements or complete silence. Some commentators believe that strategy is intentional because openly fighting back would only create even bigger headlines globally. The monarchy has always relied heavily on restraint and controlled messaging, especially during public family conflicts. Then there's King Charles III and Prince William, who are constantly pulled into the conversation by tabloids and royal experts. Reports about behind-the-scenes tensions have circulated for years, though much of it remains speculation mixed with insider claims from various media outlets. Some royal commentators believe William has become far more protective of the monarchy's future image, especially as the next generation of leadership becomes more important for the institution moving forward. A lot of people also wonder what would actually happen if Harry ever lost major royal titles or status formally. Critics say it would completely change public perception around him and Meghan. Supporters argue the opposite, claiming they already built independent global recognition outside royal life years ago. Realistically, nobody fully knows how that situation would play out because it would be historically unprecedented in the modern media era. And honestly, that uncertainty is exactly why this story keeps dominating headlines. It mixes celebrity culture, politics, royal tradition, family tension, public image, and global media attention all into one giant non-stop controversy. Every side thinks they're protecting something important, whether it's personal freedom, royal tradition, or public accountability. And because of that, the Harry and Meghan debate never really stays quiet for long before exploding online all over again. A lot of people forget that the British monarchy has always protected the institution first, even when it involves members of the royal family themselves.
It's not a financial thing. Working royals do not profit. They do not use their names to make money. It's an honour to have an HRH.
Absolutely.
So the fact that she's continued to use this HRH when they've been instructed not to, I think is absolutely infuriating in Buckingham Palace. It was agreed with Queen Elizabeth that they will not use the HRH title. That is a long-standing precedent, and there's good reason for it. Basically, the HRH is only given to working royals and senior members of the royal family.
That's why conversations around Prince Harry keep getting more intense whenever royal titles are brought into public debate. For critics, this isn't just celebrity drama anymore. They see it as a question about how much someone can publicly criticize the monarchy while still remaining connected to its status and image. The historical comparisons are a huge reason this topic keeps trending too. Royal experts often bring up the Titles Deprivation Act of 1917, which was created during World War I under King George V. Back then, it targeted royals connected to enemy nations during wartime. Obviously, Harry's situation is completely different, and many legal experts say applying that law today would be politically difficult and highly controversial. But the fact that people even mention it during modern debates shows how emotional this conversation has become in Britain. People also compare the situation to what happened with Prince Andrew, who stepped back from public royal duties following major public controversy connected to the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. That situation showed many people that the monarchy is willing to distance itself from members whose public image becomes too damaging for the institution. Since then, critics of Harry often argue the same principle should apply consistently across the board, even though the circumstances are obviously very different. And honestly, that's where public frustration keeps building. Critics ask how someone can continue criticizing royal life publicly while still benefiting from royal recognition internationally. Supporters answer by saying Harry never stopped being part of royal history simply because he left official duties. To them, he's speaking about personal experiences, not attacking an entire country or institution. The divide between those two views is exactly why the debate keeps getting louder every year. What makes this story even bigger is the symbolism attached to titles in Britain. For many people, royal titles are tied to service, duty, and representing the monarchy publicly. So when Harry and Meghan Markle continue building media projects while using the Sussex identity, critics see it as mixing royal tradition with celebrity branding. Supporters see it as modern public life evolving beyond outdated royal expectations. Both sides feel strongly about it, which is why the arguments never really cool down. At the same time, the royal family itself has mostly avoided direct public confrontation.
We'll see King Charles do this because he's not confrontational. I don't think that he likes the fact that he's been accused of racism towards his grandchildren in Omid Scobie's book. So I think he's going to continue to tiptoe.
Buckingham Palace rarely comments on Harry's interviews, books, or public statements beyond carefully controlled responses. Some commentators believe that silence protects the monarchy from appearing emotional or reactive. Others think the palace intentionally lets public opinion shape the conversation instead of stepping in directly. Meanwhile, Harry's image internationally remains very different depending on where you look. In the United States and globally online, he still has major support from audiences who admire him for speaking openly about mental health, media pressure, and royal struggles. But in parts of the UK, especially among traditional royal supporters, frustration around him has clearly grown over time. And that's why this entire situation still feels unresolved in 2026. It's no longer just about one interview or one documentary. It became a much larger fight over public image, loyalty, tradition, celebrity influence, and how modern royals fit into a world where every personal conflict becomes global entertainment within minutes. No matter what happens next, this debate clearly isn't disappearing anytime soon. Right now, the royal family might not be saying much publicly, but a lot of people believe the message is still getting across loud and clear through the political pressure, the public reactions, and the non-stop headlines surrounding Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Whether anything officially changes or not, one thing is obvious. This whole situation has turned into way more than ordinary royal gossip. It's become one of the biggest celebrity and monarchy debates the internet has seen in years. And honestly, it doesn't look like the drama is slowing down anytime soon. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more celebrity drama and royal updates. And don't leave yet, check this one. Check out the next video showing on your screen right now because this story gets even crazier. See you in the next one.